Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. So yesterday you had a lesson with Lisa and she did a summary about the past perfect continuous, okay? And she read the details and gave you a little bit of homework, okay? So it's on YouTube if you haven't watched it. Basically today I would like to go over it again, revise it again, and look at the new content on page 121, okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is a revision of the past perfect continuous. It isn't difficult. What you need to do is to be able to see why it's being used instead of the past perfect. So, the past perfect continuous, we use the duration, we use to show the duration before something happened in the past. So we're showing something that's been happening before something else happened in the past, okay? So for example, I had been running when the postman arrived, okay? Or she had been reading when the telephone rang, okay? Here we have another example. She had been cooking all morning before her son got up. She had been cooking all morning before her son got up, okay? So it's focusing on something happening during a continuous period before something else. We also use it to talk about the cause of something in the past. So Rachel was happy because her students had been studying, past perfect continuous. Or we could say the president was worried because his minister had been talking about something he shouldn't have. Or the football player was fat because he had been eating the wrong type of food. Okay? Continuous form, showing the result of something, talking about the cause of something, why something happened. Okay? So we talk about the past perfect continuous, emphasizing the continuous part of an action in the past. Okay? This is why you have to realize that the past perfect and the past perfect continuous are there, the way back in the past. They are the most past that we can have in English, okay? Different from the present perfect, which has maybe a connection with the present. The past perfect doesn't have any connection with the present, okay? So that's a revision of the past perfect continuous. If you have any doubts, you still don't understand, tell me. Okay, send me a message in the group or in privately, but you need to let me know so I can help you. Okay, it's very important. You guys can now do exercise 7 and 8 in the workbook, which are practice activities of the past perfect and the past perfect continuous. Okay, so now we're going to do the new content on page 121. We are going to repeat the new words. Okay, so let's go. A life expectancy, to eliminate, elimination, flattering, variety, fattening, balanced, to get into shape, to vary, to comfort eat, Mediterranean, guidance, to misuse. So a life expectancy is how long we expect somebody or something to live. We generally use this in general terms. So for example, what's the life expectancy for an average Brazilian woman? The life expectancy for an average Brazilian woman is 81 years, for example. Or what's the life expectancy of a dog? An average dog, the life expectancy of an average dog is 12, 13 years, okay? We use this a lot when we talk about populations, nationalities, because it's normally used in the idea of the average effect, okay? To eliminate and elimination. To eliminate is the verb, elimination is the noun. To eliminate and elimination is the idea of to remove, okay? So we use this when we want to talk about removing something. We hear this a lot when we talk about Big Brother or reality TV, okay? So for example, on Big Brother on Fridays, they eliminate somebody, they remove them from the house. We can also use this for The Voice, for example, they eliminate somebody, okay? We can also talk about it, for example, if there was a mark on my shirt, how could I eliminate the mark? I could eliminate it with soap and water, etc. Okay? Flattering. Flattering is when we use as an adjective to describe something that's been normally used in a positive way. For example, if Antonio said, "Oh, Rachel, you look nice today," he would be giving me a flattering comment, a positive comment. So we generally use flattering to talk about comments, about people's appearance, okay? We can also use it, for example, if I said to a student, "Rob, you've done a really good job, well done," I would be giving him a flattering comment, okay? So this idea of a positive comment about somebody's appearance or someone's behavior, okay? Variety, and the other common, to vary. Variety would be the noun, to vary the verb. Variety, we could say, for example, similar in Portuguese, there is a large variety of pharmacies in campus, okay? Or there is a large variety of mobile phones available in the shop in Abernese, okay? We can also use to vary. For example, the nutritionist tells me to vary my diet, to eat equal amounts of carbohydrates and protein, to change the fruit and vegetables that I eat every week. This would be to vary, okay? I encourage you to vary the types of things that you do in English in your everyday life, watching films, listen to podcasts, read books. This is to vary. Fattening. Fattening is an adjective to describe something that makes us fat. So we could say fried food is fattening. French fries, hamburgers, these types of things are fattening, okay? Make us fat. Balanced seems similar to the opposite of fattening. It's the idea of being extreme, either fattening or cutting everything out. Okay, so for example, my nutritionist tells me to eat a good amount of carbohydrates, protein, fats, and sugar to have a balanced lifestyle. Okay, balanced comes from the verb to balance. So I can balance on one leg. Okay, so this is the idea of balance, okay, is to maintain both sides equally, okay, for them not to be extreme or for it not to work, okay. So we should try to maintain a balanced lifestyle between how much we work and how much we relax. This would be the balance. If we work too much, it's unbalanced, or if we rest too much, relax too much, it is unbalanced. To get into shape. To get into shape is the same as to get fit. Okay, so in January, everybody likes to go to the gym and work out. They are trying to get into shape. Into shape, the idea of being the form of your body that you would like. Muscly, slim, thin, etc. This is the shape, the form that we would like in our bodies. To vary, we've seen. To comfort eat is to eat something that makes us feel happier or feel more comforted. So this is generally when we're not feeling good. Maybe we're feeling sad, etc. We would eat something to make us feel better. So I do this sometimes, eating things that my mother used to make for me. Maybe a nice hot chocolate, a cup of tea, a homemade cake. These are comfort eating. What makes me feel comforted, makes me feel good in a bad situation, or maybe when I'm not feeling too happy. Mediterranean is an adjective to describe an area in Europe around the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so these are countries like Italy and Spain who are located around the Mediterranean Sea, and we generally use it to talk about the lifestyle that they have there. Guidance is the noun of the verb to guide. To guide, we've already seen. It comes from the idea of a tour guide showing people how to do things, etc. I guide you through your books, okay? Guidance is a similar idea to advice, okay? So I give you lots of guidance about how you can be a better student, okay? How you can improve. And so I give you lots of advice, lots of guidance. Parents do this with their children too. And to misuse is to not use in a proper way, to not use in the correct way. So for example, if I was a politician and I use public money for my private interests. I would be misusing my power, my position. We can also say, for example, if I gave my son my cell phone and he used it to play football, which I hope he doesn't, it would be misusing my phone. He would not be using it in the correct way. Okay, so now we're going to look at Let's Repeat on page 123. If you have any doubts about the past perfect continuous or the words here, the vocabulary, tell me. Send me a message, comment here on the video. So let's repeat. The country with the highest life expectancy in 2019 was Monaco, where the average life expectancy was 89 years. He had been needing to get into shape for the football match and decided to cut down on fattening food. There is a great variety of vegetables eaten in a Mediterranean diet. The photo had not been taken in a very flattering light, so she didn't put it on Instagram. She wanted some guidance on how to eliminate carbohydrates from her meals. If you misuse something, you don't use it in the correct way. Okay, so let's practice. What had they been talking about before you arrived? They had been talking about how to get into shape for their summer holiday in Barcelona before I arrived. Can you see here? This is an example of the duration before something happened. They had been talking before I arrived. Okay? Past perfect continuous. Had she already been studying for the test before the teacher asked the class to? Yes, she had been already studying for the test before the teacher asked the class to. Had they studied the football match before lunch? No. Had they started the football match before lunch? No, they hadn't started the football match before lunch, but it started at 3 p.m. How can we extend our life expectancy? We can extend our life expectancy by eating healthy food and doing exercise. Do you know how we can eliminate salt from our bodies? We can eliminate salt from our bodies by drinking lots of water. How do singers in song competitions on TV suffer elimination? Singers in song competitions on TV suffer elimination through the judges not choosing them or the public not voting for them. So you see here the conjugation of to suffer with elimination, okay? So you suffer elimination because it's something that makes you suffer, okay? Why had Emily been comfort eating? Emily had been comfort eating as she broke up with her boyfriend this morning. Remember, broke up? To finish. Who had been working for 5 hours when the pizza boy arrived? Livia had been working for 5 hours when the pizza boy arrived. Past perfect continuous. Give me some ideas about how a person can get into shape. A person can get into shape by cutting down on fattening food and perhaps following a Mediterranean diet. Cutting down, do you remember? Reducing. What can you expect from your teacher? I can expect dedication and patience from my teacher. Do French people generally like to eat a variety of different cheeses? Yes, French people generally like to eat a variety of different cheeses. What guidance would you give someone who is starting to learn a foreign language? Some guidance I would give someone who is starting to learn a foreign language is to practice, to have patience, and to keep going even when you think you can't. Okay? Who had been varying the way he came to school before he bought a car? Thomas had been varying the way he came to school before he bought a car. Here, there is an error in the book. It should be the way he came to school, not the way he came to come to school. So you should take off the second come. I will repeat the answer. Thomas had been varying the way he came to school before he bought a car. Why had his wage varied so much this month? His wage had varied so much this month because he had worked a different number of hours each week. Being like a factory worker, he had a wage, not a salary. Remember, wages we are paid per week, depending on how many hours we had worked. Is it easy for you to take flattering photos of yourself? No, it isn't easy for me to take flattering photos of myself. It's easier for me to take fattening photos of myself. And had the doctor been giving medicine for the elimination of his patient's pain? Yes, the doctor had been giving medicine for the elimination of his patient's pain. Okay, so if you have any doubts about this content, about the past perfect continuous, let me know. Remember, you have homework from yesterday. You also have to do exercise 7 and 8 from the workbook to practice this verb tense. You have the Pearl to read, chapter 1 to 3. You have Anne with an E if you want to practice your listening, the audio book. I'm going to send you the next chapter today. It's a great way for you guys to practice and also listen to read to at home. And you also have those extra worksheets, which lots of you have been sending to me. Okay, great to see that you've been doing them. Remember, quarantine is a difficult time for everybody, but it's also an opportunity. Take the opportunity to practice your English. Take the opportunity to take your English to the next level. You have time. I hear so many times my students telling me, teacher, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to study. I don't have time to do this. Now you have time. Use it. It's precious. You won't get a second chance. So I hope that you use it, and I will see you on Monday for our next lesson. Thank you very much, guys. Night-night.